Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I have my very good friend Steve Shives here. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Dana.
And we're here to talk about a movie for our first timers and favorite series.
Yeah.
Today, it is the movie Roadhouse, which I had not previously seen. And I know, just make faces at me all you want. Oh no. Um,
That's the point of the series, though. We show each other movies the other hasn't seen. So it's good that you hadn't seen it because now we can talk about it.
oh, I thought you were going to say the point of this is to, mock people for what they haven't seen. I was going to say that's not right, Steve. That's not right.
No, it's not.
So, well, thank you for not mocking me. So,
No.
Roadhouse is about Patrick Swayze's character.
Yes. So far, so good. Oh, are you trying to think of his name?
Wait, okay, I'll have to come back to that because I really don't remember. And so he's a famous bouncer.
He is. He is. Yes.
And so the guy who's almost always evil, but in this one he's not. He comes over to Patrick Swayze when Patrick Swayze is being a bouncer and he says, you're good. I need you to help me turn my bar around because my bar is a dive and I want it to be slightly less of a dive, apparently. More of a pool hall slash a bar with fewer brawls. A bar with fewer brawls.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
Just shoving is fine. Don't break the furniture. That seems to be the ethos here that he's going for.
Yeah. A little roughhousing every now and then. Okay,
yeah.
we get it, but just don't tear the joint down every night. Yeah.
Exactly. I think the insurance has been complaining. Their premiums have been going up.
One would assume.
So, I mean, that doesn't actually factor into the story. Hand wave that. And then, so he goes there and it turns out that this rich guy is running the town and he's like protectioneering. And if you don't pay up, then he sends his flunkies in to one of the stores. He the flunkies throw stuff on the floor and make a mess.
Trash the place. Yeah.
It didn't look.
Well, they don't like completely wreck it, but yeah, they make a mess.
Yeah, they make a mess. It is highly inconvenient. But then things escalate and the store gets blown up. And also Patrick Swayze's character gets a knife wound and he's sewed up by a doctor who's got a very fluffy French braid and glasses that both go away in the next scene and never come back.
She was trying something.
She decided that look wasn't for her, I guess.
Yeah.
And let's see. And they fall in love. And it's complicated because she is the daughter of the shop guy and also the nephew of the rich guy, had been the bartender for the not evil guy.
Yes.
But he was like skimming money from the till sloppily. So Patrick Swayze's character caught him, which he's the bouncer. That's not your job, dude. So I guess, so anyway, he gets fired, but then the rich guy's like, you should hire him back. That was a mistake. And then Patrick Swayze's character is like, no, I run this bar. And the other people are like, you do? Wait, we thought he owned it. And the guy who's in there is like, nope, I mean, I own it, but I'm listening to him because he's a famous bouncer.
Do what Swayze says.
And then Patrick Swayze gets Patrick Swayze's friend, mentor bouncer, who's like the ex, still a bouncer, but he's older.
He's like a bouncer emeritus.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you can tell because he's got gray hair and a big old walrus mustache. So he's old. And so he comes in to see how his protege is doing. And they take a stand against the rich guy. Yeah. And the rich guy kidnaps the mentor bouncer and the love interest. And it's like he does the Two-Face thing, except this was before, well, it wasn't before Two-Face, but
But it
this
was
was
before the
before
movie.
Two-Face in that movie.
Yeah.
So anyway, wait, no, was it Two-Face? It wasn't Two-Face. That was the movie where he became Two-Face, wasn't it? It was the Joker who did that, wasn't it? Split him
Oh,
up?
the Joker. Oh, in the Dark Knight, the Joker did the thing where he kidnapped Harvey Dent and Rachel and said, you can
Pick
only
them.
save one.
Pick
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
And
He stole.
so
So now
yeah,
we know where the Joker stole it from. He stole it from Roadhouse.
so he goes to the bar trying to figure out what the heck he's going to do, and the rich guy conveniently, I guess, decides for him. And the mentor shows up, and he's all been beat up. He said, "They said I was lucky," and he's like, "Okay, so he's going to kill the girl." And so he goes rushing off to try to. Oh yeah, she's
He
she's
goes to the
she's doing a
hospital.
doctor thing. He goes to the
Yeah.
hospital, and oh, I skipped that part. I was thinking so he gets really angry because they blow up the barn. They blow up the house
The
of
farmhouse
the farmhouse that he
of the
was
barn where
not
he's
living
been
in. He was
staying.
living
Yeah.
in the barn, and they blow up the guy's farmhouse that he was renting the barn, not exactly a room from. Oh my gosh, I'm not good at this, Steve.
You're getting most of the big beats. And then after the farmhouse blows up, the farmhouse gets blown up by the evil rich guy's number
Henchman.
one henchman or possibly son. It's never quite made clear.
Wait,
And
son?
then I
I
said
totally
possibly.
missed it.
It's never explicitly stated what their relationship is, but he seems closer to this guy than to the other one. So I don't know,
Well,
but
he's
don't get hung
apparently
up
a
on that.
better
That's
fighter
not
because the
important.
other ones are kind of chumps. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
So
He's slightly less of a chump.
yeah.
And then
So
Patrick
yeah.
Swayze's character gets really, really mad. And you can tell he's really mad because he goes squinty eyed and he starts moving slowly at him. And he's been moving slowly before. And he was also very, very sprayed when he was moving slowly with his shirt off. So we know it's important.
It's very important.
And so they fight and they fight and they fight. And then the other guy takes out a gun. And then Patrick Swayze, like, he does a scary, and the girl sees it, and then she doesn't want to have anything to do with him. So when he goes to rescue her, she's like, "Don't rescue me, because you are scary, and I don't trust you anymore." And so he's like, "Oh, okay." So he just goes back to the bar, and his friend is dead.
Dun dun dun.
Yep. And
so Patrick Swayze goes to the rich guy's house.
Yeah, and he
kills everybody.
and or kills everybody. They all fall down. Some of them, like, they get shot, so it's pretty clear that they're dead. But others, it's not clear if they're dead or not. And then one of them ends up like standing up and talking at the end. So I'm pretty sure he was not dead.
He was not dead.
Not dead.
Most likely.
And then the evil rich guy gets shot
a bunch of times.
Remember,
basically everybody, all the business owners in town that he was,
well, they were all there, but I don't remember if they all, I guess that, so yeah.
No, they all had shotguns. Remember? They all came in with shotguns.
I remember they all had guns. I'm like, he gets shot and he falls down, and he's wearing white, so it stands out.
It really shows. Yeah, it really shows.
And then the sheriff gets there, or the cops, one or the other, I don't know, and say, "What in the world happened here?" And everybody says, "I didn't see nothing." And it's just like in Glass Onion, except not.
But it's kind of.
And
now we know where Rian Johnson stole it from. Roadhouse.
I'm telling you, everybody's still.
You see how influential this film is.
At least everybody with J's in their name is stealing from Roadhouse.
Joker, Johnson.
At least Rian Johnson hasn't killed anybody
that we know of.
Exactly. So
that's pretty much it. Yeah, I'd say that's a good plot summary of Roadhouse.
And so what'd you think of it, Steve?
It's one of my favorite movies.
Why?
I just love it so much.
I know. If you didn't, it would make no sense if you said it's one of my favorite movies. I can't stand it.
Because it's so dumb. It's transcendently silly. I watch it and I just have a ball. I mean, there are so many just amazing, like, I can't believe that just happened moments in it. That, like, I mean, enough that if a movie had one of them, you'd be like, oh, that's great. Roadhouse is almost nothing but like the evil laugh that Jimmy gives when remember when after the farmhouse blows up and then you see Jimmy riding out on his dirt bike
Does he throw
he's
his
the
head back?
he's riding away on a dirt bike because he just blew up the house. He stops right in front of the camera, of course, with the house over here burning, rears his head back, gives a just the greatest like stereotypical evil laugh, and then starts riding away again. And that's when Swayze like tackles him off the bike and they have their epic fight that ends with the throat rip. Yeah, it's like an
Scary.
evil laugh. And then when they're actually starting to fight, when they square off, Jimmy, he's already done the evil laugh, and now he also does prepare to die. Now, come on. How do you not love that?
I just sort of cruised through. I'm like, okay.
I love the idea that there's a bouncer that's that famous
I do like the concept.
Is so wonderfully funny to me. It's like he's a guy who like he works security at bars, but somehow he's so good at it that people from across the country know who he is. And also there's another one because as you said, the mentor bouncer, Wade, he's the same way. He's like even more legendary because he's been around longer. And it's like, wait a minute. So there's
but apparently the chumps can take him.
Apparently he can get outnumbered. He's old, he's old. He's out.
Yeah, that's why he attempted to retire.
But like the idea that there's not one but two bouncers so famous that people across the country recognize them just at the drop of their name is just hilarious to me. I mean,
you know what that makes me think of?
What?
Poirot.
Well, what specifically?
When people, oh, I've heard of you.
Yes, because
Steve.
Yeah, yes, Dana.
Who is the greatest detective in modern America?
I have no idea. In real life, I have no idea.
Exactly. Nobody knows.
Yeah. Nobody. They're not famous, whoever they are.
No, they're really not. And it reminds me, there's, I don't know, Saturday Night Live or something like that. The one talking head mentions to the other, it's like, oh, that's by so-and-so. And the other person says, who's that? They said, oh, you don't know so-and-so? They're Tumblr famous. And the other person says, oh, I know what that means. And they both look at the camera and say, not famous.
Exactly. Which is
they're bouncer famous. Oh, I know what that means.
Yeah. They're bar famous. They're club famous. They're not famous. But yeah, I mean, I love everything about it. I love Dalton's speech when he first takes over. It's like one of my favorite movie speeches, and because it's so ridiculous, I love
his bouncer like rules.
Yeah,
they do make sense. The whole, people are here to have a good time.
Yeah.
Our job is to help them have a good time. It makes me think of, what they need to do when they go up to these people who are not letting other people have a good time is to just go up to them and say, help me help you. Jerry Maguire thing.
Which, might be a thing Dalton would try, because another thing, Dalton is his name, by the way. That's the character's name.
Thank you. I remember that because we talked about, Dalton, Georgia being named
that's
for
right.
him.
But it must have been. It should have been. But one of the other things that makes him such a hilarious character is that he's a philosopher. It's not just that he's a famous bouncer, he's a philosopher. And he apparently carries his college transcripts with him in his medical records, which he provides to the emergency room doctor. I mean, like, the whole thing is ridiculous, and it's filled with all of these completely nonsensical details.
We talked about that. Why are his transcripts and his medical records?
No
I was like,
reason
it's
for them to be
obvious.
there.
I mean, he's the one who put them there. He gave
There,
her the medical records. So
there's no
clearly,
reason. The only reason for them to be there is because the screenwriter said, no, we're going to establish that he has a philosophy degree in this conversation right now. It doesn't matter if it would never happen this way. That's the way it is. She looks at his medical records and goes, oh, I see you went to NYU. Why is that there? Why is that there?
okay, so here's why that's there. It's because he's a bouncer, and because he's not just he doesn't have roots. He hasn't, because he doesn't. When the not evil rich, the not evil less rich guy,
the owner of the
says,
Double Deuce, yes,
that guy, when he comes in and says, I want you to come to my bar, he's like, okay. He's not like, this is my home, man.
No.
This is my place. These are my stomping grounds. Nope. He's just like, okie dokie, you own this place now. You're in charge. Good luck with that.
Yep. Bye.
And so clearly he carries all of his important documents in one file folder. And like, whenever he has to show any of it, it's just like, here, just take
here's the folder. Yeah.
So
this
like,
is the me folder.
This is in case like he in case he gets a case or something where he's like, where the person, for whatever reason, they're just ignorant and they don't know his legendary status. He can be like, here's my philosophy degree. Oh, and that's also all the scars that I've gotten because I'm a bouncer and I'm
a bad dude.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah. And he also says lines.
And it's got my tax records that you can see I'm a responsible citizen.
In case you want to see what my income is. Yeah, exactly.
Pay me.
And he says the most incredible lines with a completely straight face, like when the doctor is patching him up and she says, do you ever win a fight? And he looks at her dead in her face without an ounce of irony and says, nobody ever wins a fight. Like,
but I mean, Steve.
Yes, Dana.
He's right.
Is he also right when he says in that same conversation, pain don't hurt?
I might have written that differently. Just a smidgen. Look right in the eye and say, the pain isn't what hurts me. Just, and you're like, oh,
Dalton.
It's his lonely heart that he needs you. Clearly.
There's something about Patrick Swayze that I don't know if I've ever seen a movie star like him, because he could do, he was obviously a good romantic lead, and he did a lot of movies that were like quote unquote chick flicks or that the ladies enjoyed. But he also he was a good looking dude, right? And he also did these action movies like Roadhouse or Next of Kin or Point Break, which is another one we need to watch, by the way. Point Break, Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze.
Okay. Well, I just checked. It's on the list. So.
It is on the list. Oh, you better believe Point Break is on the list.
I do. I just looked.
But anyway, so he has this quality about him where like he can be a romantic lead or an action star. And like as an action star, he's so interesting because he's not a real life trained martial artist. His study before acting was dance. He was a trained dancer as much as he was a trained actor, but he wasn't a martial artist. He wasn't a tough guy. And he doesn't come across on screen as like a particularly bad dude. Like he's not very big compared to some of the other guys. He's obviously in great shape, but you don't like look at him and automatically think, oh man, I wouldn't want to mess with that guy, But when he has these fights, he's completely credible. And it doesn't seem ridiculous that like of all the ridiculous things in this movie, and it's packed with ridiculous things, the fact that Patrick Swayze is like a world-class fighter and can basically beat up anybody he wants, that somehow doesn't seem incredible. That seems like one of the most plausible things in the movie, which is just
well, in fairness, that's compared to the threats that he faces.
Implausible.
I was going for the other world class, and I was like, yeah, I'm not even going to go for that.
But that's the thing. They're not world-class threats. This is another thing we talked about after we watched it. And I'll make this point and then we can, move on to something else or end, wrap it up. But like, and I feel like, I feel like this is essential for any kind of movie like this to work, where you're kind of laughing at it and you're enjoying it for the silliness of it and the outrageousness of it. The stakes have to be hilariously low. Like the example I always use is the first Karate Kid movie, where it's like a life and death struggle over a regional karate tournament for high school kids.
It ain't even states, y'all.
Yeah. It's like, it's the All Valley. It's not even the All State. It's the All Valley under 17 karate championships. And they're like killing each other. You know what I mean? Like leading up, they're like throwing each other down hills and beating each other and putting each other in. I mean, it's like, wow. The stakes, the drama is so ratcheted up over virtually non-existent stakes. And in Roadhouse, it's the same thing. It's the fate of this crummy little nowhere town and this crummy little nowhere bar that nobody has any reason to care about. The villain is, yeah, he's a rich guy, but like he's a rich guy who brags about, I'm the guy who brought J.C. Penney to this town. Like, well, whoop-de-doo. Like, even he doesn't seem like that big of a deal, all things considered. But he's a big deal in the movie.
In this context, yes.
So
I will say, I think that's saving grace, because it's not that it, but the thing is, it gets you to care about the small things, and then you sort of look past the caring about the small things because you get the guy's house is blown up because like just to get back at the bartender.
It all escalates so high so quickly over
not
nothing.
Just so high so quickly, but like randomly, because like he's really fixated on Dalton when, like, let's be honest, the guy who owns the bar, he's the one who is actually making the decision to not rehire your nephew who is stealing from him. I think the stakes being low is helpful. I mean, you're talking about it, not taking it too seriously, but I think it makes it almost more relatable, because we also sort of roll our eyes at like all the MCU movies where it's like, oh, the fate of the world is up for grabs again.
Yeah.
And this is just, it keeps the stakes low, and it kind of keeps it humble. And I will say though, and I said this when we watched it or after we watched it, that I felt that something was missing.
Yeah. What do you feel was missing exactly?
I think they needed a small town festival, complete with a parade, with a high school marching band and the veterans on a float, and of course the beauty pageant for the high school girls.
Indeed.
They needed. Where was this? Was this Iowa?
No, I believe it's supposed to be in Missouri. Yeah.
Well, would that be potatoes or maybe corn? What do you think?
Missouri. I mean, pretty much any place now is corn.
Corn's good, but I mean,
corn?
It could have been tomatoes.
Ah, this is
my sash.
Because your hometown had the tomato harvest festival.
We just called it the harvest festival,
right?
But it used to be the tomato harvest festival because the town where I grew up was the hometown of Chef Boyardee.
Yeah.
Or as he was known to us, Hector Boyardee.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You were on like a real name basis with him.
Oh yeah. We were famous. We are known for Chef Boyardee and crows. Lots of crows.
Well, those are
it was also the movie was also missing the crows.
So it needed crows and it needed a tomato harvest festival,
or just a harvest festival. They could do corn,
or maybe just a scene where Dalton chows down on some delicious Chef Boyardee ravioli and says, "Boy, this is good. This is far superior to any other canned ravioli I've ever had."
No, because it didn't take place in central Pennsylvania.
And what makes it good is the delicious tomato sauce.
Ah, yes. So yeah, there is a lot to enjoy about it for me, even if I didn't love it as much as you did. But like I
Yeah.
said, that's setting a really high bar, Steve.
It's I will say this. I am glad you enjoyed it as much as you did. You enjoyed it more than Jason did when we reviewed it for late seating. I think Jason's question to me after we got through the plot summary and we get to the part in our show where we give our reviews, I believe the way he threw it to me to give my review was, Steve, why? Why? So
Why? I thought he was going to give you the Marilla. Steve, what is wrong with you? I like that one too.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, even though, as we say, you not as much as I do.
And of course, I hope all of you enjoyed this. If you haven't seen Roadhouse, now I guess you know a little bit about it. And I hope we haven't completely spoiled it for you.
Can't spoil it. You can't
And if
spoil
you
it.
enjoyed this, I hope you come back next time. We'll be on Steve's channel because we'll get to watch a movie that I enjoy. And I hope you enjoy it too. Even though I kind of think you might not enjoy it as much as I do. It is also delightfully silly and over the top. It
I like the
is,
sound of that.
you do now. It is Disney's Three Musketeers.
Okay, now is this the one from the 90s
Mm-hmm.
with who's
Oliver Platt
Oliver Platt? Yes, yes.
and
And Chris
Curls.
O'Donnell?
Yes.
Yeah. I've never seen it. I remember when it came out, but I never got around to seeing it. So it'll
So
fill in
you
a
will
hole
now.
from my youth when I could have seen this movie.
And you went, oh, it's Disney.
That's pretty much verbatim my decision-making process. Oh, it's a Disney movie. Next.
Nope. So
I'm
yeah,
looking
that'll be
forward
on
to it.
Steve's channel because it will be his first time watching that one. And other than that, don't forget to leave comments if you've seen Roadhouse and I missed a huge important thing that clearly there was some symbolism there that I, the English teacher, should have caught the deeper meaning of the missing glasses or something along those lines. Yes, please let me
Yes, the
know.
symbolism. You missed all of the symbolism in Roadhouse.
There's a double meaning of that.
I'm on my break.
Oh yeah. If you haven't
Remember
seen
that?
Roadhouse, also check the MPAA rating. It's not just for the fighting. Let's say that.
It may not be appropriate for viewing with your family.
That it would say a lot about your family if it was. That's kind of a thing. So anyway, leave me lots of comments. You know I love those. And don't forget to click the join and ding the bell. And there's buttons. And also, you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com, DanaColdares. And you can also find me and support my channel and my classroom at patreon.com/DanaColdares. And you can also go to Steve's channel, which is also right here on YouTube. And it's YouTube/Steve Shives. And you can also support his channel on Patreon as well at patreon.com/Steve Shives.
Easy to remember.
It really is. And it's also links in the description, all that fun stuff. And I think that's about it. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. And thanks for joining me, Steve.
As always.
I enjoyed it. You know what?
What?
I enjoyed this even more than the movie. And that's not a slam on the movie.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Me too. Bye for now, everybody.